Kellogg's Pep, the super delicious cereal, presents
The Adventures of Superman. Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound. Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Yes, it's Superman, who is today again on the trail of the Scarlet Widow and her deadly weapon, the Kryptonite. Narrowly escaping death when the Scarlet Widow placed him in a cedar chest with a small piece of kryptonite and consigned the chest to the bottom of the sea, Superman knows that he must recover the main fragment of kryptonite from the Widow if he is to stay alive. With Jimmy Olsen, Police Captain Donovan, and several officers, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, returned to the penthouse apartment of the Scarlet Widow. Although he said the apartment was now empty, Kent suddenly called out to the amazed officers not to open the door. As we continue now, in the foyer outside the widow's 65th story apartment, Kent, pale and trembling, his eyes glazed, staggers backward into the elevator. Listen.
Well, what's the matter, Mr. Kent? Are you sick?
I feel a little weak, Jim.
Oh, gosh, you're pale as a ghost. And you're shaking.
Well, I'll be all right in a minute. I didn't look in the flower pots. I took for granted that the widow would take all the stuff away with her.
Oh, what stuff?
Huh?
What are you talking about, Mr. Kent?
Look, Jim, I want you to listen and then do exactly as I say, will you?
Oh, sure I will. But what's this all about? First you say there's nobody in the apartment, and then you start yelling not to open the door.
I know.
And then you practically pass out.
Oh, never mind. Now listen and get this straight. I want you to go into the apartment.
Aren't you coming?
I can't.
Why not? Look, you're not having a heart attack or something, are you?
Oh, no. I just felt a little weak for a moment, but I'm all right now.
Maybe you ate something that didn't agree with you.
Never mind me. Just listen and don't interrupt. Now, there's a flower pot standing near the entrance to the living room. In the earth around the plant is a tiny piece of green glowing metal. I want you to get it.
What for? What is it?
Will you stop interrupting? This is important. Pick up that piece of metal with a handkerchief, not with your bare hands, and take it to Dr. John Milikin at the University of Metropolis laboratory as quickly as you can.
But why? What?
Never mind the whys and what. Just get the piece of metal and take it to Dr. Milikin. Tell him I'll be there very soon. Now get going.
Oh, wait. If Captain Donovan sees me taking anything, he'll throw me in the hoosegow.
No, he won't. There's more of the stuff in the other flower pots in the living room and on the terrace. As a matter of fact, you might call them to Donovan's attention, so he'll take them to headquarters. But warn them not to touch the stuff with their bare hands. All right, go ahead, Jim.
Okay. Where are you going?
I never saw anyone who could ask so many questions. I'm taking this elevator down. I'll have one of Donovan's men bring it up again. Now, don't fail me, Jim.
I won't, Mr. Kent.
Okay.
Leaving the building, Kent waits nearby, hidden in the early evening shadows, until he sees Jimmy emerge and enter a taxicab. A short time later, in his true identity of Superman, Kent knocks at the laboratory door of Dr. John Milikin, world-famous physicist.
Good evening, Dr. Milikin.
Superman.
That's right, Doctor.
Come in.
Thank you.
I'm delighted to see you. I haven't had that pleasure since we worked together on the atom.
That's right.
Now, come into the laboratory and tell me what I can do for you.
If you don't mind, Doctor, let's talk right here,
It
shall
will
we?
be much more comfortable at my desk. There's
I know.
chairs.
I'm sorry, but I can't go to your desk.
I don't understand.
There's something very dangerous to me on your desk, Doctor.
Dangerous
Yes.
to you?
I know it sounds fantastic, but that tiny piece of green glowing metal that young Olsen just left with you is my deadliest enemy.
What? Oh, now look here, Superman. Do you feel perfectly well?
I feel fine now, Doctor, but it's the gospel truth. That fragment is a piece of the former planet Krypton, where I was born. And by some strange chemical action, I lose all my strength when I come within 10 feet of it.
I can't believe
Now,
it.
to repeat, it's true, only too true. I told Dr. Whistler, meteorologist of the museum, my story before he died. It was his theory that the substance of the former planet Krypton created a race of supermen there. But here on Earth, a fragment of kryptonite has just the opposite effect on a former inhabitant of that planet, meaning me. In this atmosphere, the kryptonite robs me of all my strength.
Whistler said that? Amazing.
Yes, unfortunately, right after Dr. Whistler died, some of my enemies managed to steal the kryptonite, and last night they almost succeeded in doing away with me.
Oh, good heavens.
When they learn I'm still alive, I'm sure they'll try to destroy me again.
Don't say that. We need you. You've been of tremendous service to this country.
Thank you, Doctor. Then perhaps you'll help me?
How can I help you?
Examine that sliver of kryptonite on your desk.
That phosphorescent metal, is that kryptonite?
That's right. Study that kryptonite, Doctor. You're the greatest physicist in the world. Perhaps you can discover how I can defend myself against it.
Of course, I'll do my best. But it seems so unbelievable that this sliver of kryptonite can knock you out.
It will ultimately destroy me. unless you can develop some defense against it.
I'll get to work on it at once. But I can't promise anything, you understand?
I understand. But I'm counting on you, Doctor. Well, you are my last hope.
I'll do everything in my power, naturally. Now, where can I contact you if I have anything to report?
Call Clark Kent at the Daily Planet. Just tell him it's important that you see me. Don't give the message to anyone else.
Kent can reach you in an emergency.
Well, I keep in touch with Kent, you might say. Well, now I've got to try to pick up the trail of the kryptonite before it's used against me again. Good luck, Dr. Milikin.
I'm going to need it. Here, I'll take you to the elevator.
No, thanks. I see your skylight is open. I'll use that if you don't mind. So long, Doctor.
Good night, Superman. Believe me, I'll do all I can.
I'm sure you will.
Up and away! Leaping up through the open laboratory skylight, Superman streaks away into the evening to take up his desperate search for the Scarlet Widow and the dreaded kryptonite. But meanwhile, in another Metropolis laboratory, a small, dirty basement room of cluttered tables, retorts, and a littered floor, a strange scene is taking place. The single window is closely boarded and nailed over with heavy black paper, and under the dim glow of an electric bulb hanging from the ceiling, two men lean over a test tube suspended above a Bunsen burner. In the tube is a small piece of green glowing metal and a heavy purplish liquid, which boils violently and gives off a brilliant white light and hot steam. One of the men is squat and powerfully built, with a bald, bullet-shaped head and eyes magnified like frogs behind abnormally thick spectacles. This is Der Teufel, who, until the war ended, was one of Germany's most brilliant scientists and espionage agents. The other man is tall and lean, with cold, pale eyes set in a sallow, impassive face. Watching the test tube, Der Teufel scowls.
Everything I've tried, Klaus, everything, but I am unable to dissolve the kryptonite.
All last night and all today you work on this problem, Teufel. Why is it so important to dissolve the kryptonite?
That is simple. Because of its effect on Superman, I am convinced that kryptonite is an even greater source of atomic energy than U-235, uranium. Now, do you understand?
No, and you must explain further, Teufel.
You are a blockhead. But see, I will try to make you understand. Everything on Earth is soluble. Everything can be dissolved, which means the kryptonite too, if only the proper chemical agent can be discovered. And once the kryptonite is dissolved, do you not see what that means to us, Kraus? Do you not see?
Puzzled, the man, Kraus, waits for Teufel to explain. What has Der Teufel, whose name in English means the devil, in mind? We'll return in a moment to find out. But first, let's hear from our good friend.
You know what I heard the other day? Well, someone told me that one of the members of the gang was listening closely Monday when I first told you all about these brand new comic buttons, the new prizes in packages of Kellogg's Pep. And this young fellow was so pleased and excited with the big news, he came right out with a big yippee! Well, I bet you feel like that, too, when you get your first new comic button. It'll be one of your old favorite funny sheet characters, you know. Maybe Superman himself, or Skeezix, or Uncle Walt, or Smokey Stover. You know him, don't you? Or any one of 18 different buttons, each one a humdinger for color and sparkle. You'll get a big kick out of rounding out your collection of all 18 buttons, swapping duplicates with your pals, wearing them on your jacket or dress or cap. And here's the payoff, gang. You don't send in a single penny for these new comic buttons, not even a box top. You can't even buy them anywhere. You just ask Mom to get you plenty of that super delicious whole wheat flake cereal, Kellogg's Pep. Inside every package, there's a swell prize. One of these brand new thriller-diller comic buttons, or a military insignia, or a warplane button. So get in on the fun. Make sure Mom gets you a package of P-E-P, Pep, made by Kellogg's of Battle Creek.
And now back to the adventures of Superman. In a dirty secret basement laboratory under the streets of Metropolis, Der Teufel, one of Germany's most brilliant scientists, has been unable to dissolve the piece of kryptonite which he stole from the Scarlet Widow. Kraus, one of his henchmen, expresses bewilderment.
As I said, Teufel, I am not a scientist, so tell me, why does it mean so much to us that the kryptonite be dissolved?
You will see for yourself. But first, I must return to Germany, to the Black Forest, where waiting for me is Herr Professor Milch. Milch is a great chemist, a genius. He will be able to dissolve the kryptonite if anyone can.
He will?
Yeah, I'm certain of it. Now listen to me, Klaus. The Scarlet Widow, the Vulture, and the Laugher seek everywhere for me. So, too, do the American police.
All of them are dangerous, but none so dangerous as the Scarlet Widow.
I fooled her once, and I will do it again with your help. What you must do now, tonight, is to obtain papers for me, a disguise, and whatever else is necessary so that I can return to Germany at once.
See, Teufel, you ask me to take tremendous risks. not only with my own life, but with those of our comrades. It is only right that you should tell me why I do it.
You verrichte Dummkopf, it is I, der Teufel, who commands it. All right, Kraus. I will tell you, when Herr Professor Milk dissolves the kryptonite, I intend to create an atom man.
An atom man?
Yeah, an atom man who from his very fingertips will unleash such a fury of horror and destruction upon our enemies as they have never even dreamed of. My atom man will forever reduce the great Superman and all our enemies to something even less than dust. Now, will you arrange for me to return to Germany?
It will be done, Herr Teufel, at once. Heil Hitler.
You mean Heil Teufel. It is I who will succeed where Hitler failed. Ha ha! Go now, Kraus. Hurry and arrange matters. Schnell.
His huge, distorted eyes gleaming behind his thick spectacles, the Teufel laughs gleefully at his monstrous vision. What is the atom man he has promised to create? And will it be able to destroy Superman as Teufel promises?
Meanwhile, in the back room of a small book and gift shop in a fashionable district of Metropolis, the gaunt, ugly Scarlet Widow angrily hurls a stack of telegrams at the feet of Sniggers, her little henchman. Listen.
My agent can't find Teufel in Detroit. They can't find him in Los Angeles. They can't find him in Cuba or Mexico or Canada. Where is he?
He's a sly one, Roger, that Teufel is. But if you listen to me, Widow, you'll forget about him.
Forget about him? Are you crazy, Sniggers? He got away with 1/4 of the kryptonite. Worth $1 million.
I'm sure he did, and I'd like to slit his dirty throat for it. But we still got 3 pieces of the blooming stuff left. And that's why I think you're making a bad mistake, Widow. Suppose the Vulture and them other 2 blokes finds out we dumped Superman in the ocean, and he's dead. They won't pay us nothing for the kryptonite then.
How can they find out? Only you and I know who was in that cedar chest.
Yeah, they're smart, they are.
Then let them find Teufel. They know I won't sell them any part of the kryptonite until I see that double-crossing Nazi dead at my feet. Right now he's alive someplace, somewhere. Why don't the police find him?
I don't know. The police is hunting for us too, don't forget that. And every day that blinking Daily Planet newspaper puts descriptions of us in their first page, telling anyone what sees us to call the bobbies.
Don't worry, we're safe here.
I don't like it. Not a bit I don't. Look at Widow. Let's sell what we've left of the blooming kryptonite and hop it out of here.
No, I said. Not until I see Teufel dead. Now, get off that chair. I want to use the typewriter.
What you going to do?
I'm going to send a special delivery letter to every one of my agents all over the world, telling them I'm raising my price to $200,000 for Teufel.
Ooh, that's a lot of folding money, that is.
He's got to be found. He didn't evaporate into thin air. He's someplace, somewhere, and I'm going to find him and see him dead if it's the last thing I ever do.
As the Scarlet Widow's long, bony fingers tap out an urgent command to her underworld agents to find the man who robbed and double-crossed her, Der Teufel himself, carefully disguised in a wig of thinning gray hair and a short, stubby beard, his fleshy face cleverly molded to new lines and contours, and wearing a black Homburg hat and mink-lined overcoat, has just stepped from a clipper plane at Lisbon. Holding a bulky briefcase close to his side, he extends a passport to a customs officer who examines it perfunctorily as a large transport warms its powerful motors nearby.
You are Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, senor?
Yes.
You travel from here to Madrid?
I do. On my way to my own country, Belgravia, where I'm finance minister.
Si. Here is your visa, senor. Your plane leaves in 10 minutes.
Thank you.
Hurrying to the transport plane, his briefcase clutched tightly under his arm, Der Teufel is flown high over the Pyrenees and set down at bustling Le Bourget airport of Paris. Once more, his bulky briefcase held tightly under his arm, he presents his passport to a customs inspector.
See, Monsieur Orlovsky, the newspaper reporters, they hear you arrived today and they ask for you.
If you could perhaps not tell the reporters I'm arrived. My plane to Berlin leaves very soon, and I wish to rest before continuing my journey.
Oui, Monsieur Orlovsky, I will say nothing to them. Voilà, your visa, monsieur. Bon voyage.
Merci, monsieur. Merci.
Still undetected in his disguise of Dr. Orlovsky, finance minister of Belgravia, Der Teufel, carrying a small piece of the deadly kryptonite, which he believes can be used to create an atomic creature, able to forever control the strength and power of Superman, waits in Paris for a plane to carry him to Germany and his mysterious destination. Meanwhile, haggard from his unrelenting but futile search for the Scarlet Widow and the Kryptonite, Superman, in his guise of Clark Kent, is in the teletype room at Metropolis Police Headquarters with Inspector Henderson.
Here's the flash from Washington. No soap, Kent. The fellow they picked up as Papa Rose turned out to be a respectable high school teacher. A refugee.
Well, if you'd only listen to me, Inspector, and concentrate on the search for the Scarlet Widow and Sniggers, I think you'd get further. They have the Kryptonite.
Oh, you and your Kryptonite. I thought you had better sense, Kent.
Why?
Believing that a piece of fallen meteor can harm Superman.
Well, it can do more than that, Inspector. Ultimately, it can destroy him.
What? Look, I always had a lot of respect for you, Kent, but after a crack like that,
You think I'm crazy, huh? Well, listen, I can tell...
Call for you, Inspector.
Oh, thank you, Miss Hardy. I'll be right along.
I had the call transferred to the teletype room. You can take it on the phone right here.
Okay. Excuse me, Kent.
Certainly.
Inspector Henderson speaking. Oh, yes, Haley. What? Say that again. What? A fire with green flames?
Green flames?
What have you been drinking?
Inspector, what did
Now,
you say
just
about...
a minute, Kent, will you please? What'd you just say, Haley? I didn't get it. A murder? Well, why didn't you say so in the first place? Sure, I'll be right out. Where is it? Huh? 226? Yeah, okay. All right, I'll see you right away. Well, how do you like that, Kent?
Why?
Haley gives me some cock and bull story about a fire in the basement, a fire that burns with green flames, he says, before he breaks down and tells me there's a murdered man in the basement. Come on, we'll have a look.
Fire that burns with green flames, huh? It's very interesting, Inspector, very interesting. I wonder if it could possibly be...
Eagerly, Clark Kent hurries from police headquarters with Inspector Henderson. Clark Kent and Inspector Henderson have just arrived at the scene of a recent fire, the basement of a dingy tenement house. The basement, equipped as a cluttered, dirty little laboratory, has been half burned out, and the charred walls are a strange green. Leaving Officer Haley outside to keep back the curious crowd, Kent, Henderson, and a police surgeon are examining two men who lie on the basement floor. One, a short, foreign-looking old man with thinning gray hair and a stubby beard, lies on his side, dead, the blade of a knife in his back. He is clad only in his underwear. The other man, tall and lean, sallow-faced, breathes faintly.
This tall young fellow, how bad is he, Doc?
Beyond help, Inspector. 3rd-degree burns. He won't last more than a few minutes.
His driving license says Fred Krause. This address. No other identification. There might be some prints on the knife. I wonder who the old fellow is and where his clothes are. He looks kind of familiar.
I know who he is, Inspector.
You do? Who is he, Kent?
Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, finance minister of Belgravia.
Oh?
He came to the United States a few weeks ago to try to float a government loan.
Are you sure?
Positive. I interviewed him.
What's the finance minister of Belgravia doing here in this dump?
And with the knife in his back. This is a nice kettle of fish.
Yeah. Oh,
what's the matter, Kent?
What? I don't know. I suddenly felt weak and dizzy. What? Great Scott.
Huh? What's the matter now?
That test tube I just dropped. I was examining it. Inspector, there was kryptonite in that test tube a short time ago.
Kryptonite?
Yes. That accounts for the green flames. The Scarlet Widow must have been here. And maybe the Vulture, the Teufel, and that gang, too. They killed Dr. Orlovsky for some reason. Something to do with me.
With you?
Huh? Oh, I mean with Superman.
Oh.
This man, Fred Krause. He must know where they went and what they're up to. Doctor, you've got to bring him, too. He's got to tell us.
Well, what do you say, Doc? Any chance?
I don't know, Inspector. He's in pretty bad shape, but I'll try. I'll need some hot water.
Well, wait, there's a sink over there, Kent. Maybe,
I'll see. Yes, it's hot. I'll get a fan. You've got to bring him too, Doctor. You've got to. He can tell us where the widow is and the kryptonite. He must be made to talk.
Quickly and skillfully, the police surgeon works to revive Fred Krause, the Nazi underground leader. Will he succeed? And will Krause tell Superman where the Teufel is? And of Teufel's monstrous plan to create an atomic monster capable of destroying not only Superman, but all of civilization? At this moment, Teufel, in his disguise of Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, is preparing to leave Paris for Germany. Never was Superman in such grave danger as now, where they found the real Dr. Orlovsky murdered, and a man named Krause dying from burns. Discovering traces of kryptonite in a test tube, Kent urged a police surgeon to try to revive Krause. And as we continue now, in the charred laboratory, the police surgeon works over Krause, while Kent and Inspector Henderson watch anxiously. Listen.
Well, how is he, Doc?
Very low, Inspector. It's just a matter of minutes now.
We've got to talk to him, Doctor. Can't you give him adrenaline or something?
Well, I've given him chloramine, Kent. If anything will bring him around, that will. I'm not too hopeful, though.
Well, he must come to. We've got to get him to tell us who was here.
Whoever it was murdered Dr. Orlovsky.
A lot more than murder took place here, Inspector. Something to do with a kryptonite.
Oh, forget that nonsense, Kent.
Nonsense? I tell you that unless that kryptonite is found, and soon, it may mean the end of Superman.
What's that?
Don't pay any attention to him, Doc. Somebody fed him a lot of hot air about Superman being in danger, and he fell for it. Doc, you've got to bring Krause around.
Well, I'm doing all I can, Inspector, but...
Wait a minute. He just groaned.
Yes, I think he's coming to.
Good.
Teufel.
What did he say?
Teufel.
Teufel. Orlovsky.
You hear that, Kent? He knows about Dr. Orlovsky.
Yes, and apparently Teufel was here.
Now, what about Orlovsky, Krause? Who killed him?
Teufel.
Teufel killed him?
Control.
Wait, Inspector.
Superman.
His pulse is strengthening, Inspector. It's just possible to have a rational moment. I suggest that you decide on the most important question you want to ask him.
Ask him where the kryptonite is, Inspector.
Are you out of your mind, Kent? I want to know who killed Orlovsky.
What if you find out who...
Teufel. Where are you?
He's rational now. Quick, question him.
Krause, where is the kryptonite?
Shut up, Kent.
Teufel has it.
Where is Teufel?
I said shut up, Kent. Now, Krause, listen to me. Who killed Dr. Orlovsky?
Teufel.
I thought so. Where is he, Krause? Where did he go?
He went.
Where did he go?
All right, where? Where, Krause?
He went to Atom Man.
Atom Man.
I'm afraid he's sinking, Inspector.
Listen, Krause, where?
Atom Man. Destroy.
Krause. Listen, Krause.
It's no use, Inspector. He's dead.
Well, that's that, Kent. Now I'm in a fine spot. I've got to tell the Belgravian government and the newspapers that Teufel, who broke out of prison, somehow knifed Dr. Orlovsky and escaped again. Now, isn't that going to make me look good?
We've got to find Teufel, Inspector.
No kidding. Well, what do you think we've been trying to do ever since he broke out of the pen?
But now it's even more important that we find him. He's got the kryptonite.
No, that again.
And apparently he worked out some experiment in this laboratory with it. Something he told Krause will enable Germany to control Superman and rule the world. Something to do with an atom man.
Have you gone nuts, Kent?
No.
First, you get all steamed up about that piece of meteor endangering Superman.
Well, it does.
And now you take a dying man's babbling seriously.
Look,
I used to think you were a good reporter, but can't I...
Inspector.
Well, what is it, Doc?
There's nothing more I can do here. The wagon's on the way, so I'll be running along.
Okay, Doc. And thanks a lot.
So long. Goodbye, Kent.
Goodbye, Doctor. Oh, you've got to listen to me, Inspector.
Look, I haven't got time to listen to fairy tales.
But it's not a... Wait a minute.
Oh, here comes a frock coat and silk hat. He must be from the Belgravian embassy.
Inspector Henderson.
Yes, I'm Henderson.
I am Count Brilovich. I received the telephone call.
Yes, I know. I'm afraid I've got some bad news for you, Count.
The police officer said it had something to do with Dr. Orlovsky, our finance minister. But that I cannot understand because...
Just step over here, will you, please? Oh, by the way, this is Clark Kent, reporter for the Daily Planet. Count Brilovich, the Belgravian ambassador.
How do you do, Kent?
All right, here we are. Prepare yourself for a shock, Count. He's under this canvas.
Who is?
I want you to identify him. Look.
Good heavens. Dr. Orlovsky.
You were right, Kent.
But this cannot be, Inspector. It cannot be Dr. Orlovsky.
What do you mean? You just said it was.
Yes, it is. But how can he be here in Metropolis?
Come again, please.
What do you mean, Count Brilovich?
Why, 3 days ago, Dr. Orlovsky left Metropolis by clipper plane to return to Belgravia.
What? What's that?
Yes. His mission here was completed. He returned to our country to report to Parliament. I myself said farewell to him and saw him to depart for the airport.
Looks like he didn't get to the airport. He was waylaid by Teufel for some reason and brought here. Now, why would he...
I think I know, Inspector.
Orlovsky, I cannot understand. How did he get here? Who did this to him?
Just a minute, Count. What did you start to say, Kent?
I said I think I know what happened. Dr. Orlovsky is about the same size as Teufel.
What's that got to do with it?
I think Teufel, who was probably working with Krause here, found out about Dr. Orlovsky leaving the country. They trapped him here, killed him, then Teufel dressed in his clothes.
Hey, Orlovsky's clothes are missing. Go ahead, Kent.
Teufel made himself up to look enough like Orlovsky to pass muster with the customs inspectors, took Orlovsky's passport and the kryptonite, and got on the clipper plane as Dr. Orlovsky.
By George, that might be it, Kent.
I'm sure it is.
But who is Teufel? Why did he do this to poor Orlovsky?
Teufel is a Nazi scientist, one of the cleverest Hitler had. A year ago, he almost succeeded in solving the secret of harnessing atomic energy. Now, with the kryptonite,
Great Scott. Kraus talked of an atom man. Oh, no, it can't be. It's too fantastic.
What are you I do not understand.
About? We've got to stop Teufel. Come on, Inspector.
Well, if you're right, Kent, and Teufel is traveling disguised as Dr. Orlovsky.
I'm sure he is.
All right, then we'll get him. We'll contact the clip reports on the European police. There's my car. Come on, Kondralovich. We'll drop you at the embassy.
Thank you, Inspector.
Cassidy, don't let anybody in here.
Hurrying from the shabby basement laboratory, Inspector Henderson, via shortwave, is attempting to intercept de Teufel, whom he and Kent believe escaped from Metropolis by clipper plane, disguised as Dr. Alexander Orlovsky, the finance minister of Belgravia. Now, at a powerful shortwave receiver in the radio room at headquarters, Henderson and Kent stand by anxiously as the International Police Channel becomes alive with confirming messages.
R5C506, Lisbon, Portugal, to WMPD Metropolis Police.
It's Lisbon.
Quiet, will you?
Orlovsky arrived Tuesday 12th. Proceeded via Iberian transport plane to Madrid. I will repeat. Orlovsky arrived Tuesday 12th. Proceeded via Iberian transport plane to Madrid.
Paris, Sûreté, official 21 to WMPD Metropolis Police. Per your request, Orlovsky arrived Le Bourget Field Wednesday, 11:30 p.m., 13th. Departed Thursday, 2:40 a.m. via French Empire Airways. Destination, Berlin. Repeating message, per your request. Orlovsky arrived Le Bourget Field Wednesday, 11:30 p.m., 13th. Departed Thursday.
United States Army Occupational Police, Division 22, WMPD, Metropolis Police Department. Alexander Orlovsky arrived Berlin via French Empire Airways Thursday, the 14th, 11:50 a.m. Arranged reservation on Baltic Transport Line for Belgravia. Leaving Berlin 2:40 p.m., but did not appear again at airport. Full investigation underway. So far, no report. We'll keep you advised. United States Occupational Police signing off with WMPD, Metropolis Police Department.
Lisbon, Madrid, Paris, Berlin, and then no report. Alexander Orlovsky, believed to be Der Teufel, seems to have vanished into thin air. This man, the devil, has in his possession the one thing in all the universe capable of rendering Superman harmless to the forces of evil.
Disguised as a foreign diplomat, Teufel flew to Berlin, where he disappeared. And as Superman and the police of 2 continents hunted for him, he came by night to a tiny inn at the edge of the Black Forest. Wearing ragged clothes and a black wig, a patch over one eye, and a battered knapsack on his back, he sits in a corner of the small uncarpeted dining room, his face half hidden behind a newspaper. As the only other diner leaves, Teufel calls to the fat white-aproned owner of the inn. Listen.
You, come here.
Yeah? What is it?
You do not know me.
I do not know time such as you. I wish to close up now. For the meal, you owe me 5 marks.
Look closely at me. Gottfried.
How do you know my name? Who are you?
You do not recognize my voice. Well, I've been away a long time. Wait. I will remove the wig. So. And the patch from my eye. So. Now, you regard me?
The Teufel.
Not so loud. Who else is here?
At the moment, only myself and my wife, Goethe. But the light soldiers are all about in the forest and on the road.
I saw them. Tell me, Professor Milk is in the hiding place.
Milk?
Yeah, Milk, the chemist, my colleague. The light soldiers have not captured him.
Nein, not yet.
Good. I must see him at once.
But there's...
Come, take me to the passageway. It's in the cellar, is it not? Well, why do you stand there? Take me to the passageway, I said.
Nein, Teufel. You cannot go to the hiding place in the forest. You are a great danger to us.
A danger? I, a danger? You blockhead. I come on a great mission to restore the fatherland. Tremendous difficulties I had in escaping from the United States and then from the Americans in Berlin.
All that we know. And we know, too, that the American police traced you to Berlin, and now their police in Germany may find you. Already, just before evening, they were here at my inn to inquire if any had seen you. So far, they do not suspect that I work in the underground Nazi movement. But
Listen to me.
Someone is coming.
Send him away, whoever it is.
I cannot. It may be the American police. Quick, put that big on your head and the patch on your eye.
Godfrey!
It is the American sergeant who guards the sword. Oh, Himmel. Now we are in trouble. Why did you not leave? I bet you...
Quiet, fool. Do as I say. I am your cousin from Nuremberg, Friedrich Merker. You understand?
It will not work.
Silence. Control yourself or all is lost.
Oh, there you are, Godfrey. Why didn't you answer? Who is this man?
Good Abend, Sergeant. I did not hear you come in. I was so busy talking, recalling old times with my cousin.
Cousin, huh? I haven't seen him around before.
No. You see,
I've only just arrived, Herr Sergeant, to visit my cousin Gottfried.
What's your name?
Friedrich Merker, mein Herr.
Where are you from?
From Nuremberg.
Let me see your papers.
What, Sergeant?
Yeah, certainly, mein Herr. Here they are.
Well, they seem to be in order.
Oh, thank you, mein Herr. The American sergeant thought perhaps I was a Nazi, Gottfried.
Oh, nein.
You Germans are all alike. Now you've lost the war, all of you say you hated Hitler, and none of you were Nazis. Well, I was just shaking up. Good night.
A glass of beer before you go, huh, Sergeant? Or wine, perhaps?
Oh, thanks.
Good night, mein Herr.
Good night, Herr Sergeant. Auf Wiedersehen.
Good. He's gone. Quick, Gottfried. Lock the door and turn off the lights. Hurry, I help you.
Oh, Himmel. Never was I so scared. Where did you get the papers?
What does that matter? Hurry, now lock the door.
Yeah, I will lock it. After you leave.
Again that. Listen to me, Gottfried. I tell you I must see Professor Milch. With his aid, I can not only control the American Superman who blocked our plans before,
but... What is that you say? You can control Superman?
Now you become interested. But then listen. With what is in the knapsack on my back, we will be able to control the world, let alone Superman.
What is in your knapsack?
I will show you, but first, lock the door. I will lower the shade on the window.
All right. Now, the American soldiers will think I have gone to bed. Show me what is in the knapsack, Teufel.
Yeah, 1 moment. Here it is.
A box. Is that all?
Is that all, he says. This box, Gottfried, is the power to completely destroy our enemies. Look.
What strange thing is that? Like a large piece of stone, only it gives off a green light. And what is that pure sound it makes?
That which you see, Gottfried, is Kryptonite.
Kryptonite? Well, what is that?
It is a fragment of the former planet Krypton on which Superman was born. When he comes within 10 feet of this substance, he becomes weak and even loses consciousness.
What nonsense is this?
This is the truth I have seen for myself. And more I have seen. No, do not touch it. It will burn your hands.
It will burn?
Yeah. It is highly radioactive. I have discovered by experiments that it is more complex in atomic structure and so more radioactive than any other element known in the world. More so even than thorium, radium, actinium. More even than uranium.
Uranium? That is what the Americans used to make the terrible atomic bomb.
Yeah, but beside this kryptonite, uranium is as nothing. The kryptonite has no impurities, and its radioactive discharge, as I have myself measured with an electroscope, is 100 times greater in intensity than uranium. Do you realize what that means, Gottfried?
You become too scientific for me, Teufel. Just tell me how you plan to use this material to control Superman and destroy our enemies.
Now you come to the heart of the matter, Gottfried. With Professor Milch, whose great genius I require to dissolve this substance, I will create an atom man.
An atom man?
Yeah, an atom man. A creature more deadly than 12 atomic bombs. A monster from whose fingertips will come the power. The atomic energy which will make the great Superman his servant, his slave, and which will destroy our enemies.
Himmel! This atom man, how do you...
What is that?
Sirens. The Americans, police, they approach from the town. They must have traced you here.
They must not find me quickly. Take me to the secret passageway.
Yeah. If what you just told me is true...
If it's true, it's Milch's help. I could do what I say in a few days, perhaps even less. Quickly now, take me to the passageway.
Come this way to the cellar. Hurry. The police will be here in a moment. They are under the floor. I will show you. It will take you under the edge of the forest where the Americans stand guard to the hidden cave.
Hurriedly, the Nazi innkeeper leads the Teufel down to the cellar, to the secret passageway into the Black Forest. As the Teufel hurried to the secret passageway in the inn near the Black Forest, Superman has streaked to Berlin from Metropolis. Now, in his guise of Clark Kent, we find him in the office of Colonel Greeley, Chief of Intelligence at American Occupation Force Headquarters.
I tell you, we've searched everywhere, Kent, everywhere, but we can't find a trace of Teufel.
Well, he must be found, Colonel Greeley.
I'm well aware of that. He made Dr. Orlowski, the Belgravian finance minister.
Right.
That makes an embarrassing situation for our state.
But it's even more important than that. Teufel has the kryptonite, and Superman is helpless against it.
Well, I'm not worried about anything like that. I want Teufel for murder.
Where was he last seen?
At the Berlin airport. The night before last, he landed from a French plane disguised as Dr. Orlowski, made a reservation on a plane leaving for Belgravia at midnight, and then, well, he just disappeared.
Oh, but somebody must have seen him.
Apparently nobody saw him after he left the reservation office. He's nobody's fool, you know.
We've got to find him. We've got to.
Oh, excuse me. It's my phone. Colonel Greeley speaking. Who? Oh, yes, Captain Meisky. What? You have? Where? Who? I see. Yes, of course, I'll be right over. Of course, at once. Thanks, loads. Come on, Kent.
That was...
Captain Meisky of the Russian Occupational Police. He just got a hot clue to Teufel.
He did? What is it?
He didn't say, just told me to rush right over. I presume you want to come along.
Do I? Try and stop me.
We can go through the record offices to the back of the building. My car is waiting. We can be at Russian headquarters in 5 minutes. Come on, Kent. On the double.
Eagerly, Clark Kent and Colonel Greeley rush from the American Occupation Building. What have the Russians discovered about their Teufel? Will it enable Superman to intercept the brilliant but unscrupulous Nazi scientist before he can create his dread Atom Man and turn him loose against the Man of Steel and civilization? And what is the Atom Man? Every tense moment counts now, fellows and girls, so don't fail to listen tomorrow. As we continue now, Kent and Colonel Greeley are in the office of Captain Nikolai Meisky of the Russian police in Berlin. A German prisoner has just been brought in. A squat, slack-jawed man who seems ill at ease in his handsome frock coat and silk hat. Listen.
This is the man, gentlemen. He was picked up in the Russian zone of Berlin an hour ago. He had just sold a magnificent mink-lined overcoat to a pawnbroker.
I do nothing wrong. It is my own overcoat, I say.
Silence you!
But, Captain, this man is not the Teufel.
I did not say he was, Colonel Greeley. He had, however, contact with our Teufel.
Where? When?
A night before the last, Comrade Kent, in a street close to the airport. These are Teufel's clothes he wears now, or rather the clothes of the late Dr. Orlovsky of Belgravia, as whom Teufel masqueraded.
They are? Are you sure?
I am positive, Colonel. In a pocket of the overcoat was a label bearing the name of Dr. Orlovsky and the name of a tailor in Belgravia.
He gave them to me. I do not know his name. He approached me near the airport, a man much of my own size and wearing very thick eyeglasses. Yes. He carried a fine leather dispatch case.
That description fits Teufel, Kent.
Yes, go on.
He asked if I would exchange clothes with him. At first I thought he made a joke, but he gave me no time to consider. Almost before I knew what occurred, I wore his clothes and he was gone with mine.
Gone where?
Where did he go?
I know not, mein Herren. It was dark at night. I saw him go towards the Kaiserstrasse and then I saw him no more.
Nor has anyone else. I think you attacked him, robbed him, and did away with his body.
Nein, I swear it.
Then where are your papers, your identification?
I have told you. They were in the pocket of my jacket. But so quick was all this, I did not remember them until the man was gone.
Uh-oh, now we're getting someplace. What's your name?
Friedrich Melcher, mein Herr. I am from Nuremberg.
Melcher from Nuremberg, eh? Colonel Greeley, Teufel is about this fellow's size, and he has his clothes and papers. That means...
Teufel is now disguised as Melcher. Right, Kent. We'll get after him at once. May I use your phone, Captain Meisky?
Of course, Colonel. But it is my opinion that this man lies as do most Germans. I think either he killed Teufel, or else is in league with him.
Well, if he'd killed him, he'd still have his papers. And if he was in league with him, he wouldn't be so stupid as to walk around in Teufel's discarded clothes. No, I think he's telling the truth. Teufel evidently knew we were aware he was disguised as Dr. Orlovsky, and he needed a new disguise in a hurry to get wherever he's going with the kryptonite. Well, we've got a chance to intercept him now, but we've got to work fast.
Right. I'll call American headquarters and send out an alarm.
Good.
You may be right, Comrade Kennedy.
I'm sure I am.
Oh, I will, of course, do all I can to help, too. I, too, will transmit a radio alarm to my men. about 5'7", weight 190 pounds, ragged clothing, carrying identification papers of Friedrich Berger of Nuremberg. This man is the Teufel, and is good.
Attention! Berlin office calling all military and occupation police. It is believed that man wanted as the Teufel is now disguised in ragged clothing and carries papers identifying him as Friedrich Berger of Nuremberg.
As urgent radio calls crackle over the German airwaves to speed a new search for Der Teufel, the elusive Nazi scientist has made his way through an underground tunnel from a small inn to a deep rock cave in the Black Forest. The main entrance of the cave is cleverly concealed by fallen trees and heavy underbrush. Within, it is large and musty, fitfully illuminated by 2 coal oil lamps, and fitted with rough bunks on which lounge a dozen assorted Nazis. Men, young and old, all former leaders in the Nazi regime of savage persecution and conquest, now hiding from and plotting against their conquerors. Some are men of science, 2 are field marshals, 3 are members of the ruthless Gestapo. In the half-gloom, their eyes gleam like fierce hunted animals as they regard the strangely humming, green-glowing kryptonite which Der Teufel has set in its opened box before Professor Ernst Milch, the stooped, shaggy-haired chemist who did more than any one man to keep Hitler's oil-starved Panzer divisions operating on ersatz fuels.
There it is, Milch. Almost insurmountable difficulties I had in obtaining it and bringing it here.
This is the Kryptonite, Teufel?
Yeah. It is a part of the fragment from the shattered planet Krypton on which Superman was born.
Yeah?
In the presence of this material, Superman becomes helpless as a babe.
Oh, wonderful. Superman helpless? What nonsense is this, Teufel?
It is the truth, General Bromberg. I myself have seen Superman lose consciousness when he approached this metal.
Was it? I do not believe it.
You may be given an opportunity to see for yourself. There is no element like this in all the world, Milch. The gamma rays it emits, as indicated by the cold green light and hum, are too strong even for him. It is 100 times more complex and radioactive than thorium or radium or even uranium.
You tested it with the electroscope?
Yeah, and I used shields before. The gamma rays penetrated the shields with such an intensity as to be unbelievable, and ionized the air and gases as uranium could never do. And it has no impurities. Think what that means, Milikin. A tiny quantity of it will serve our purpose, whereas the Americans must have a great deal of uranium to purify only enough for a single atomic bomb.
What does this madman speak of bombs? Tell him, Milch, how our great factories are destroyed. Tell him how we, the last few loyal followers of the Fuhrer, live here in a cave under the ground, hunted like rats, and forced to subsist on a few lean rabbits and birds we can snare in the forest.
Do you think I'm a fool? Have I not ice in my head? However, with the kryptonite we need neither factories nor bombs.
What? What do you mean, Teufel?
I will explain, but first I will close the box.
But now come. Tell us what it is you mean.
I mean this, Milch. If you can dissolve the kryptonite, I will create an atom man.
What?
An atom man. A creature in whose veins will flow a solution of pure kryptonite, who will, by use of a converter, be able to shoot kryptonite atoms from his fingertips in an unbroken chain that will create such destruction as the world has never dreamed of.
You're mad.
I was never so sane in my life, General Bromberg. If Professor Milch can dissolve the kryptonite, we will be able to control Superman and then force the rest of the world to its knees.
But, Teufel, you speak of an atom man. I presume you mean an artificial man, a robot.
I mean a human being.
What?
Yeah. A human being. One of us here, in this cave, will be the world's first atom man.
Startled, Professor Milch and his Nazi cohorts stare open-mouthed at Der Teufel. A human atom man. Can Teufel be serious?
Mad, Teufel, mad!
Out of such madness, General, will come victory.
But how can this be, Teufel? With the kryptonite in his veins, a man he could not live.
In my solution, he would live, Milch.
But if the atoms were split, he'd blow up, you fool!
Whom do you call a fool, General? I did not lose the war. You did. Well, Milch, speak. But we have everything to gain and nothing to lose. How long before you can dissolve this kryptonite?
But I do not know. I have a small laboratory set up in another room as a cave, but it is not complete.
You performed great things during the war, and you did not have everything you needed. Will you try now, for your own life, And the life of the fatherland?
I tell you, he is mad, Milch. Nein, General, the Teufel is not mad. He is a genius. And if he says he can create an atom man, then I believe him. And somehow, whatever the cost, I will dissolve the kryptonite.
Well spoken, Milch. A toast to our success, gentlemen. Is there wine?
Oh, yeah.
Ah, good. Heil Hitler!
Heil Hitler! Heil Hitler!
His moonlight face beaming, der Teufel leads the toast to the success of the dread Atom Man. Will this small, desperate band of fanatical Nazis succeed in their grotesque plot? Or will Superman, menaced as he never was before, stop Teufel before it is too late? Once more in his guise of Clark Kent, the Man of Steel nervously paces the floor in the office of Colonel Greeley, Chief of American Intelligence in Berlin. Listen.
For heaven's sake, sit down, Kent. You're getting on my nerves.
Oh, I'm sorry, Colonel. I guess my own nerves are getting a bit ragged. It's just that Teufel has that kryptonite, and he's a brilliant scientist, and, well, he's performed some experiments, something to do with an atom man, which he says will rule the world.
And you believe that?
Well...
Say your nerves are in bad shape.
It's just that I know Teufel, you don't. And I know the power of that kryptonite. I tell you, Teufel must be found, and found quickly. He must. But I need help. Even I can't examine every nook and cranny of Germany and all of the 100 million people in it.
Fearful as he has never been before, Clark Kent, who is Superman, waits for some word of der Teufel. Meanwhile, at a little village near the Black Forest, a young military police sergeant named Bill Nelson has just alighted from a train after a 48-hour leave. In a jeep with Corporal Harry Marks, he is returning over the dark road to his base.
Say, what's that new gadget on the dash, Harry? Looks like a radio.
It is. We're in style now, Bill. Regular big-time cops. They put a two-way set in here day before yesterday, the day you went on leave.
Say, pretty snazzy. Turn it on, see if we can get Bing Crosby.
Are you kidding? Let's see what headquarters has to say.
Number 3, South Central Occupation Zone. All military commanders and occupation police stand by for important announcement.
Oh, what's this?
It is believed that a dangerous German scientist named Der Teufel is now disguised in ragged clothing
and
carrying papers identifying him as Friedrich Melker of Nuremberg. This man must be apprehended. He is about 5 feet 7, weight 190 pounds, wears thick eyeglasses. He is believed to have in his possession a small piece of green glowing radioactive metal. Take no chances with this man. He is dangerous. That is all.
We've been getting that announcement every couple of hours since you left. They must want that Teufel guy bad. Wonder what that piece of metal is he's carrying around.
Friedrich Melker. You know, I've heard that name before.
You have? Where?
I can't remember. Gosh, I know I heard it someplace.
Say, seems to me there's somebody in the movies or on the radio named Melker. Oh, I got it. An opera singer. Melchior. That's why it sounds familiar.
Oh, yeah, maybe that's it.
Sure. I'll spruce up, Bill. There are the lights of the inn. We'll be at the base soon. You want to look sharp when you meet up with the CO again. We got a lecture this morning about getting sloppy on occupation duty.
Oh, I shaved on the trip. Harry, stop at the inn.
What for? What's at the inn?
I just remembered. That's where I saw Frederick Melker.
What? Now, wait a minute.
I saw him, I tell you, 2 nights ago, just before I went on leave. Go on, pull up in front.
You saw him where?
In the dining room. He was with Gottfried, the innkeeper. Gottfried said he was his cousin.
Gottfried did? Listen, are you sure?
Sure as I'm sitting here. I was making my last check before going back to the base. And this short, powerful German was with Gottfried. He was wearing ragged clothes and a patch over one eye. I asked him who he was. He said he was Friedrich Melker from Nuremberg. I asked him for his papers.
Did he have them?
They were in order, all right. So I left. But holy smokes, Harry, that guy was Teufel.
Then what are we waiting for? Come on.
Oh, it hasn't closed up yet.
Oh, you better check your gun.
Yeah. It's okay. Let's go.
I didn't see anybody around when I was here yesterday or today.
Well, he could be hiding in one of the rooms. Or in the cellar.
If he isn't, Gottfried will know where he is. I never did like that rosy-cheeked Kraut. Always fawning. Well, here we are. You're in charge, Sergeant. Proceed.
The place looks empty.
Here comes mine host.
Ah, guten Abend, meine Herren. To what do I
We
owe
came
this?
to see your cousin.
My, cousin?
Yes, you remember. He was here 2 nights ago. His name's Friedrich Melker.
Now,
nobody in the dining room, Bill.
Oh, my cousin Frederick. Yeah, of course. I'd forgotten he was here. He stayed so short a time.
You mean he's not here now?
Oh, nine. He left soon after you did, Sergeant. But, why do you wish to see Frederick?
Are you kidding? You know doggone well that Melker...
Just a minute, Harry. Where did he go, Gottfried?
He said he was returning to Nuremberg. That is his home.
I see. Mind if we look around a bit?
No, look around, of course not. What,
we'll take a look at the kitchen first. Come on. No, you lead the way, Gottfried.
Yeah, of course, but I do not understand. I tell you, Frederick does not...
What? He dove behind the bar.
Dirty bum, come back here, Gottfried, or I'll drag you out of there.
Oh! Harry!
Got me. My leg. Look out, Bill.
Yeah, I see him. He ducked too quick. Harry, you all right?
Just my leg. Oh, never mind me, Bill. Watch when he shows himself again.
You better come out from behind that bar, Gottfried.
I will come out when you are both dead.
Listen, you fool, you can't get away. You better come out while you're still alive.
Oh, yeah? I show you.
He shot the light out. Watch it, Bill.
Stay down, Harry.
We can't see the bar.
He can't see us either.
Yes, he can. There's a little moonlight coming in from the window behind us.
So, you seek that Teufel, eh?
Yes, and we'll get him, and you too, Gottfried.
Nein, it is I who will get you, you American swine.
Sit tight, Harry. I'm going after him.
Oh, Bill, you can't see him.
Don't worry. Just hug the floor, fella.
But, Bill...
Quiet. Gottfried, I got you.
No, peek, American! Bill! I'm shot! Bill!
I'm okay, Harry. I think he's done for, though.
How about you? You sound hurt.
He nicked me in the side. You stay here.
Where are you going?
I'm going to the car. Radio. Gotta call the base.
Bill!
It's okay. I can make it. I hope. Gotta get to the car. Call the base. Tell them Harry's hurt. I don't know if I can make it.
Gritting his teeth and with one hand pressed to his wounded side to ease the pain, Sergeant Bill Nelson crawls, falls, and crawls again, slowly and tortuously toward the jeep. Will he make it? Der Teufel is at this moment in the secret cave in the Black Forest, less than a mile away. Sergeant Bill Nelson, badly wounded, is trying to reach his car to inform headquarters that Der Teufel had been in the inn near the Black Forest. Teufel himself, with a Nazi chemist, Professor Ernst Milk, stands at a rough table in the secret cave a mile from the inn. In a test tube, suspended above an improvised oil burner, a small piece of green glowing metal in a purplish liquid suddenly crumbles. There is a white-hot flash. Then the liquid in the tube turns green and boils violently, emitting a scorching green steam.
Ah, Himmel, you've done it, Milikin.
Ja, Teufel. The Kryptonite is at last dissolved.
Wunderbar. My converter is already prepared. It remains only to select the one among us who shall become the savior of the fatherland.
I have been considering that when I worked. He should be young, or at a man, and strong.
Yeah.
And imbued with a hatred for our enemies. And I have decided that my son is the perfect choice.
Your son? I have observed him. He is young and strong, and he did well in the war, did he not?
He received the Iron Cross from the hands of the Führer himself. I've spoken to him of this experiment. He begs for the honor.
Good. Prepare him then. In a few minutes, when the kryptonite solution has cooled, we will inject it into his veins. And in 1 hour, the first atom man will walk the earth to bend first Superman to his will, and then the rest of the world.
1 hour. In 1 hour, Der Teufel states, an atomic monster will leave the dark cave in the Black Forest, first to subdue Superman, and then all civilization. Is there a chance yet for Superman to stop him? Only 1 hour remains. 60 minutes. What will happen?
Tune in, same time, same station, for the adventures of Superman.
Faster than a speeding bullet. More powerful than a locomotive. Able to leap tall buildings at a single bound.
Look, up in the sky. It's a bird. It's a plane. It's Superman.
Fellas and girls, be sure to follow the adventures of Superman. Brought to you every day, Monday through Friday, same time, same station, by the Grand Old Kellogg Company of Battle Creek. And for other thrilling adventures of Superman, see your local newspaper. Superman is also a copyrighted feature appearing in Superman DC publications.